So I just took my oldest son, Josh. He's at the University of Michigan now, but it's been tough to let him go. But he's now on his own and starting new adventures. But 2 years ago, he was taking calculus virtually, and I was trying to learn calculus. I hadn't used it really in probably 15 years. And I was reading books, I was watching YouTube, I was looking into chain rule, but the coolest, most interesting tool that I use is called Mathematica. And there's a logo up here, and it really, what it does is it integrates natural language, it integrates AI, it can even run 3D printers, and it allowed you to basically do sensitivity analysis and play with the variables and set them to different settings to understand how calculus works, how the equations work and everything. So I've actually had a lot of people ask me about how to use Mathematica. So here's a quick little video I'm going to do about the top things you need to learn about Mathematica to get it. There's a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it, it's pretty straightforward. So let's get started. So tip number one is there's two of my favorite ways to get Mathematica. One is a cloud service, and I'm logged in here online. The second way is to buy a Raspberry Pi microcomputer, and your kids can get started on running it. It's a $30 Linux machine computer, and the kids can run on it on their own with a screen and a keyboard plugged in, and Mathematica comes installed on there. But the first thing about Mathematica that gets a little tricky is, so here are the tips. So number one, you can set variables. So you can set, for example, A, I'm going to define as the symbol B, and then you press Shift Enter. So I'm going to put that up. Shift Enter is important. It's how you execute the commands. So you can see here the input was A equals B, and then the output is B. So I'm going to just take a look at A here and press Shift Enter again, and it's telling me it's the value of B. So I'm going to clear the variable. So this is another trick about Mathematica. Capital letters are used for the functions. They're reserved for the functions. So sine, I think if you use a capital S, it's the function, the trig function. But if you use lowercase, it thinks it's a variable. But that's the way a lot of these programs are. So just be aware of it. So, and then the other thing I see in this command is the square brackets. That's super important too, because that's how you define the inputs that go into the function. So clear takes a variable, and the variable I want to clear is A. So let's clear that, Shift Enter. And I think it's cleared, so we're going to take a look at A and see what it does. So A is now defined as A instead of B, as you see up here. So the other thing I'm going to show you is really quick. So I'm going to define a function called f, and it's going to take in a variable of A. You can see the square brackets here, and when you define the function, it's colon equals and then A squared plus 54c. So I'm going to press Shift Enter. So I believe, so it's not showing the output, but I'm going to try f. So I've defined f of, and I assign A to 2. So let's try it out. So there you can see it's stuck in 2 for the value of A, and then it kept the C at the end, 54C. So if you want to define C somewhere else above here, it'll change the function and give you a numerical value. So I'm also going to show you here clear A with the square brackets again, and this shouldn't work, right, because C is not capitalized. So let's try it out. Oh, because it's cleared up here. So let's define it to B again, and then let's look at the value of A, and there it's B. So let's try clear A. So it says clear B. So yep, and then it'll show up as B here. All right, the second thing I'm going to show you real quick is that you can do plots, and you can define the range of x. So x and x squared minus x squared. So we're going to plot that. So there's your plot, and you can spin it around. So this was great for me to understand looking at all the axes and spinning around. But the even cooler thing about Wolfram, about Mathematica, is that you can use this command called manipulate, and then you can see here I've got the equation, but I'm going to evaluate, and I'm going to say the range from 0 to 2, and then you press Shift Enter, and then check this out. So as I increase the value, and then I can press the plus to show where I am, you can see the plot change, right? So this is the sensitivity analysis type of work that I can do now, and I can vary any of the parameters in here and watch the graph change. So super cool stuff. So I can take a look at the graph. And then the last thing I want to show, which is super fascinating, is if you type in an equal sign, then Mathematica uses a natural language processing system. I think that's called Wolfram Mathematica, if I'm getting this correctly. But for example, you can type in define g of xy. Instead of using the notation that Mathematica uses, you can kind of type it in the way you want to, the way you speak, right? It uses natural language, it uses artificial intelligence, it takes what you type in and tries to understand it. So this, it doesn't have the square brackets. It uses some words like define, which may not be in the Mathematica language. And then I press Shift Enter, and it'll go out into the cloud and say, okay, let's define g of x of xy as this function. You can see here I don't even have the colon and equals. So then you can test it out and say, well, show me what you've defined as g of, let's say, d and f. So we enter that. So I've set the variable to 9. So what I need to do is actually clear this first. So clear D, Shift Enter, and then I'm going to go up here again, and there you can see I said here's the function, here's the new function. I want to put D in for X and F in for Y, and you can see it's already defined. And then I can type in again equals set variable D to 9. This is to help kids bypass kind of the language constraints of Mathematica and use their own natural language. So set variable D to 9. And then, so D should be 9 now in this. So you can see there, it pops in D into there, and it's a fantastic program. So I'm going to probably do more videos on Mathematica because, as I kind of explained, like, it really helped me understand calculus again, and you can model the world and you can use AI inside of Mathematica, and I'll probably do a couple of videos on that. So have a great day. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. I think this is super powerful, what I'm seeing here. Bye.